Welcome to Inside Operational Minds. This video series focuses on IFC's disruptive technology business in South Asia. We have visited our portfolio companies in their offices and brought to you their stories. Stories that highlight how these businesses are creating new markets and delivering on impact metrics while generating strong financial returns. Each of these examples demonstrates how erupting forces of technology are gradually disrupting the landscape of every industry. Hope you enjoy the series.
Hi everyone, I'm Ruchira Shukla and I'm the regional lead for IFC's investments in disruptive technologies in South Asia. As you may have seen from the recent announcement, IFC has made a $10 million investment in 1mg. 1mg is an integrated digital healthcare platform that serves as a one-stop shop for all patient needs. Patients can use this platform to buy their medication, they can use it to order lab tests, as well as do chat consultations with their doctors. 1mg is also working with hospitals to manage their pharmacies, and in the last 3 years has grown 25 times. With me is the CEO and co-founder of 1mg, Prashant Tandon, and Gaurav Agrawal, who's the co-founder and CTO of 1mg. Hi guys, how are you today?
Doing very well. Very glad to have you here. Welcome to 1mg.
Thanks, Ruchira. It's great to have you over at 1mg.
Always good to be here. Let's start with your background and what led you to start 1mg.
So yeah, it's a long journey. Was working in healthcare in the US, and I always felt this is one of those large spaces that has to work for consumers. And when we were looking at how healthcare delivery is happening in India, just felt there's a lot of pain points. It's not working for the consumer, and we believe that there's a way technology can solve it. And for an entrepreneur, what more do we need? An area which is a large market, a big pain point, and a belief that we can address it. So we created 1mg as an integrated platform with patient at the center of it. We felt healthcare, the way it was being delivered, patient is moving to the periphery. And can we create a model with the patient at the center, provide them information, pharmacy, lab tests, consultations in a very integrated and holistic manner. So if there's one thing that defines 1mg, it's putting patient at the center of healthcare.
Thank you. And clearly in doing so, you've been able to solve it for two important things, access and affordability. Healthcare is a very core sector to IFC, and we like to make sure that the core healthcare services reach those segments of society that would otherwise not have access to them. And 1mg now operates in 2,000 small towns and cities, and 45% of your customers come from tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So clearly you've solved for reach through your platform.
Yeah, accessibility, affordability, and understandability is a core part of the founding vision for 1mg. And from the very start, we've been very focused on figuring out how do we remove the normal roadblocks for people to access healthcare. To give you an example, 1mg information is available in 6 local languages, right? So English as a roadblock has been removed. Since our founding, over 150 million people have accessed 1mg information, products, and services through a variety of means and mechanisms. To give you another example, we often talk about how women who are the primary caregivers of a family, of a home, they are most disenfranchised, and I'm super proud when we see that in terms of representation, women form a larger set on the 1mg platform than, let's say, the general e-commerce infrastructure in India. Over 40% of our participants are actually women. And lastly, there's a common services program which is run by the government of India, which enables digital services access in villages in India. Over 170,000 villages are part of that program. And 1mg provides healthcare services, products and services access to those 170,000 villages. So accessibility and affordability is a core part of our founding vision.
And clearly gender inclusion as well, because of this, the large customer base that is female. The other thing that digital platforms like yours end up serving is regulatory compliance, because when I buy medicines, typically I would walk into a pharmacy, they may not even ask me for a prescription. But platforms like yours ensure that there is a prescription against every drug that's dispensed. You're also able to track and trace medication to ensure that that's maintained in the right quality throughout the supply chain.
Yeah, and I think it's the Indian pharmaceutical supply chain. It's very fragmented. We have around 200,000 wholesalers out there. And it's a very complex supply chain. You have wholesalers, distributors, dealers, retailers, and a big network through which one doesn't know what product is coming in from the side, which has come through the authentic route and things like that. And I think the key to solving that is digitization. So in our own small way, in the 1mg supply chain, right from the source, right up to the patient, everything is digitized, which means everything is auditable, trackable. And that is fundamentally how this supply chain is going to become, I would say, something that the consumer can have confidence and trust in. They are getting not only the right product, but product in the right conditions. And we are working on new generation technology. So for cold chain products, we've set up a IoT-enabled supply chain. Right up to the doorstep of the consumer, they can check not only, of course, the authenticity, but temperature throughout handling of that medicine, including at the point of delivery. So all these things, they add to confidence of a consumer that they're getting the right thing for the right price, of course. And it's also something that the government has noted. We are working with Niti Aayog, the think tank of the government of India, on a project to bring a blockchain-based back-end infrastructure for all medicines or the entire pharmaceutical supply chain to actually work with. So I think we are taking very important initial steps in this direction.
Wonderful. And in building the customer's confidence in healthcare systems, whether it's confidence in the drugs that reach them, confidence in the doctors that they consult with, you're also serving an important gap in the market, and therefore the key stakeholders, whether they are hospitals, pharmacies, or insurance companies, are your key partners in making all this happen. And there is this high element of trust between the different stakeholders and yourselves as a platform.
So healthcare needs to work in an integrated manner, not only in terms of the information products and services, the core services, but also integrated across stakeholders. And if you look at the stakeholders in the healthcare ecosystem, it's the hospitals, the doctors, the insurance companies, the pharma companies, corporates, even the government. What we are trying to create is a seamless network of communication and flow of information, products, and everything that creates a system that works with a single focus, that is, the patient needs to get better. And I think that's something that is missing in the ecosystem today, because a lot of these have become single transactional experiences rather than a life cycle continuum of care kind of experience. That's what we are essentially creating. I think that is the holy grail for healthcare.
Adding to what Prashant has said, this integration of the ecosystem is also very, very important and powerful from a chronic disease management standpoint. If you think about it, chronic patients don't just need one thing. They don't just need medicines or tests. They need a continuum of care. And what 1mg is starting to do with these ecosystem partnerships is provide this continuum of care from offline to online, from hospitals, insurance to a digital medium, across services as well. So we think it's the right way to attack chronic disease, right way to change the chronic disease outcome, and hugely beneficial for a society like India, which has a very, very high chronic disease load.
Thanks, Gaurav. And clearly that's evident in your numbers, because over 90% of your customers for prescription drugs are chronic patients, right? Chronic
That's
disease
right.
patients. And in building a full disease management suite for the chronic patient, you've sort of created a new market where this need was never met before. So I also see applicability of this solution beyond India. A lot of emerging markets have the same dynamics, where there is a dearth of doctors, there's a dearth of physical hospital infrastructure, and digital platforms like yours can go a long way in serving that need.
Yeah, absolutely. I think from all emerging markets, we actually get a lot of inbound interest, and we keep evaluating if we can expand into other markets. I really think this is a very interesting time, because all markets are going through a transition, and these are the same pain points everywhere. It's not an India only problem, and it's not only India is going in the direction of putting patient at the center of healthcare. I think technology has just enabled that, so it will happen everywhere. And if anything, emerging markets actually have a huge advantage. We don't have legacy, so we are just going to see a pretty interesting and a brilliant kind of a leapfrog happen. So I think we are on the cusp of something that will go across the world, and for that, a partner like IFC is certainly what we are very excited to work with.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Prashant. Thank you, Gaurav. We are very excited about our investment in 1mg and hope to continue working with our mainstream healthcare team to identify more such disruptive businesses that we would partner with. Thank you, viewers. If you're interested to find out more about 1mg or about IFC's work in disruptive technologies, please don't hesitate to reach out. If you're in Delhi, I'd be happy to have a coffee. Thank you so much.